Alright, so we're going to show you guys how to work on your Onyx Racing Products hubs today. You're going to need a couple of tools to do these procedures. Your first one being a bearing press kit. You can purchase these from Park Tool Wheels Manufacturing from your local bike shop or a favorite online vendor. You'll need a bearing removal kit. We're going to be using a slide hammer for these videos. There's many different types you can purchase. This is probably the most convenient that we found to use on our products. You're going to need a small flathead screwdriver, a 2.5 millimeter Allen key, a 6 millimeter Allen key, an 8 millimeter Allen key, a 19 millimeter socket and ratchet. You'll need a set of snap ring pliers and a small non-marring hammer. Okay, now we're going to show you how to remove the axle system and service your Onyx Pro and Ultra rear bolt-on hubs. This applies to any 10 millimeter bolt-on hub configuration for both the Pro and Ultra BMX models. You're going to need your 8 millimeter Allen key to remove your axle bolts. These will not be needed during the service procedure, so you want to have these off the hub. To remove the axle system, you'll want to remove the left-hand end cap. This is the non-drive side of the hub that is held on by an O-ring. You want to use your 2.5 millimeter Allen key through the axle hole and your 19 millimeter socket to remove the drive side end cap. So these end caps should be Loctited on, so your initial break free point might be a little bit tough. Once that end cap is removed, the axle will slide out the non-drive side of the hub, and you can set that aside for now. The driver is just pressed in by O-rings, so you can actually hold that with your hand and pull it out and set that aside. This will now give you access to the bearings in both the hub shell and in the free hub body. So now that you have your hub body with no free hub or axle system installed, you want to be able to remove the bearings to perform your cleaning and service. You're going to need your bearing removal kit again. On the Pros and Ultras, there's a couple different bearing sizes that get used. On the non-drive side is a 6804 bearing for both the Pro and Ultra model. You will need a drift or a bearing removal tool for that specific size. So to remove the 6804 bearing, you will use the proper size tool to remove. Hold onto the hub shell firmly. So once the bearing is removed, you can set that aside, and you now have access to the back side of your hub for cleaning any of the debris and dirt out of it. On the drive side, remove the drive side bearing. On the Pro models, you will need a 6805 bearing extractor. On the Ultra models, you will need a 6806, a slightly bigger size. You want to be careful when inserting the tooling into the hub as to not damage the clutch mechanism that is behind the bearing that you're trying to remove. Again, you want to hold the hub body or wheel firmly and give it one quick motion to remove the bearing. And now you have access to your clutch mechanism for service. You'll want to start with the drive side of the hub shell. On most models, that will be a 6805. On the Ultra and Ultra SS models, that will be a 6806 or 6807 bearing. You want to be sure to use the appropriate drifts for that bearing size on your bearing press, using the appropriate size drift for the non-drive side bearing as well to square yourself off when pressing in the bearings. So on the Pro and Ultras, you'll be using a 6804. We're going to use that drift in reverse to take the place of the bearing and keep everything square during pressing it, the press-in procedure. So during the press-in procedure, this can get a bit snug, so extra tooling or leverage might be required for your press kit. Once the drive side bearing has been securely installed, you can now remove the drift on the non-drive side and use it to install the non-drive side bearing. Reset on that. Now that you have your bearings installed back into the hub body, you want to install the free hub body. This does have a special procedure to open up the clutch mechanism during install. You want to make sure to give the free hub body a counterclockwise rotation to open up the clutch while pressing into the hub body at the same time. A firm push at the end will seat the O-ring and lock the free hub into place. Now that the free hub is installed back in the hub body, you want to reinstall your axle system. The axle will install through the non-drive side of the hub. Your first step is to put a small amount of blue thread locker on the axle end prior to pushing it across the hub body. Once your axle is securely across the hub body, you want to install your drive side end cap. And tighten firmly to lock down the axle. You'll want to hold down the axle again using your 2.5 Allen key through the hole on the non-drive side. Once the drive side end cap has been securely tightened, you want to push the hub down on its drive side to seat everything into the hub shell towards the non-drive side of the hub. This will allow you to adjust the preload collar in your hand. You want to do this with just very light pressure against the bearing, not over tightening or leaving too loose, as this will cause excessive drag or side-to-side play in the hub. Once you have it adjusted, you want to tighten the pinch bolt using your 2.5mm Allen key and reinstall the non-drive side end cap. That is it.